Right then, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is my E30 Touring that I've been restoring for the last 8 years. It's just come to the final steps, and this is easily the most progress I've done in one video ever. So in the last videos, we've been going through the exterior, the interior, the engine, and now it's time to put everything together, and as you can see, get it finished. Well, not finished, but say show ready. A few little jobs left over now. So at the start of July, I got the car back from respray, and the previous videos take me up to the end of July, and with a show on the 3rd of August, I need to get some bits together. So before I did most of the work, I put the engine in quickly just so we can get the wiring loom made up. I'll show you this later on in the video, but it's kind of a little sneak peek as to how it's going to look. Now, I wish I could say the engine's in ready to go, but unfortunately, there's a lot of steps that need to be done first to get into this position. So looking in the engine bay. At the moment, it's just fully painted, bare shell. So we need to add some insulation. So now I'm aiming to do it around here. Because the original insulation doesn't fit anymore that went across the bulkhead, I'll have to go around there as well. So the first job was to make some templates. Just using a piece of paper, I can kind of feel out and mark out everywhere that I need to have the insulation, or at least where I want it to go. This is just kind of to show the biggest size I can go, and then I can trim down to kind of the size that's a lot of checking, cutting. We finally got into position where I was happy. As you can see here, this is a rough design of how I want it. So what am I going to be using? So I decided to reach out to Zerkotech, the thermal management experts. So originally, it was for the ceramic coating of my exhaust manifolds because I wanted to keep a bit of heat out of the engine bay. But after a bit more of a conversation, we talked about the Zerkoflex foil and form. So this is more of a heat shielding which I can use in the engine bay, which will help me not get any heat inside the cabin. So this is Formula 1 technology. The stuff they do is amazing, all the motorsports to applications. I'll put a link in the description, so make sure you check them out. So with making up the templates, all I need to do is simply scribe out the size that I need, cut them out, test fit them, and stick them in. These have an adhesive backing, nice and flexible, so super easy to fit. Luckily, with my engine bay being nice and flat, it's a lot easier to not get any creases. And once you've kind of figured it out, you can start sticking, and then we'll carry on with the whole of the engine bay. And there we have the finished product. So on the side, that's to protect from the exhaust manifold, and as you see, it goes over the transmission tunnel, and that's to kind of keep heat outside of the cabin. So moving on from there, we're onto the brake line. So luckily, I've already done a dry mock-up of the engine, so I know how everything fits because I've made everything up to make sure that it all fits in place. This is simply doing the work that I've done before, but just being a lot more careful now that everything's painted. It's much scarier to do it. I gave my E90 servo a quick paint job, and so that's ready to go in now. You'll see later in the video why I've made this notch in the fan cover, but it's because of the carbon airbox. It sits so far back. So what I needed to do is cut that out, but then also due to the fan housing, I then had to trim that back just slightly, just to clear the notched cover. And with that in place, you can see it still spins. It may not be as efficient, but it's just something that was necessary to clear the airbox. I was debating for a while what colour to paint the fan cover, but I'm actually really happy with the body colour. I think it suits it really well, rather than having it either black or with the original insulation. Moving on, wheels. Now, I'm not too happy about these, but it's wheels that I bought a while ago, and for now, they're going to do. They're maybe a bit too racy, a bit too modern, but for now, let's not worry about it. They're on, moving on. I had Russ from Ultimate Windscreens come around and install a newly supplied tinted windscreen. So the original one, unfortunately, had a few too many damages in it. I thought it would just be best to get a new one, and it looks absolutely amazing. I really didn't think you could still get a tinted one. And then also, he was able to stick in the back window and the M-Tech 2 Sport spoiler, which I just think is really cool. So now it's time for the serious work. Mating the engine and the gearbox up, getting it ready to go in. So Pat came round to give me a hand with this because it's something I didn't really want to do by putting the engine in on my own. So with the gearbox mated on, it's looking amazing. It's a massive engine. You really don't remember how big it is until you see it like this. Now before paint, I've installed and removed this engine and gearbox countless times. It's too many times to remember. But obviously with the paint, got to be a bit careful now. So get everything sheeted up and we can go for it. So I'll save you watching this for 10 minutes. I'll just cut this into nice, quick, easy bits. This took us about 10 minutes in the end, just being super careful, making sure lifting, twisting, up, down, the load leveler, making sure everything sits right, just anything to not get any damage. Luckily, it went really, really well. The engine was in, there was no damage, everything was secured. So it means now we can move on to the exhaust manifold. Now this is a video from before, just before I sent them off for ceramic coating, just to make sure everything fits. As you can see, they're not in the best state, but all the welding work that was needed to get everything to fit, I wanted to get them looking good. So as you can see, it's time to get them installed. Now once again, it might be hard putting the engine in, putting the exhaust on is another story. This is so tricky of getting the rear one in and the front one in. You kind of have to remove the rear slightly, twist the front in, just such a pain. But eventually we got there. Luckily, because I've test fitted this a few times, I kind of remember how to do it. Now I'm wearing blue gloves because it's easy to stain the exhaust manifolds with the oil. Obviously, this isn't an issue when it's a motorsport application, but for me, they're brand new, I want them looking good. So I'm wearing gloves just to keep them as tidy as possible. With the manifold in place, we can now move to the other side of the engine. This little bracket here is just something to hold the PCV in place, but also it's quite handy for routing the wiring. Simple as two little M8 nuts, and then the PCV just sits into place. Then the recently restored ITBs can go in place. Now that they're in, I'm able to set these up properly. And now this is where progress really ramps up, and unfortunately not everything has been filmed. So for now, let's just enjoy the moment with the engine in the bay and I start to put everything on. As you can see, it looks absolutely stunning. The ceramic coating and the heat shielding really has now pops off. But obviously it's more than that, it's for the performance. All of a sudden, the front end was on, and then the next, it was ready to go to the show. So this was for the Rollhard Bicester show on the 3rd of August. Brandon at Apex Autos was able to sort me out some transportation at last minute, so I'm super grateful for that. Thank you very much. But it's time to go. So this is probably the 3rd time now the car's left the house. Always a little bit worrying, but I knew I was in safe hands. So we got the car to the show. My friends were able to get me right in front of the hangar, which is really cool to see. And there was a lot of people having a look at it. But unfortunately, I didn't get much footage. I was tired, I was stressed, but I was just happy to see it was there. And then at the end of the show, I was able to roll it outside, get it in the sun, and just have a nice appreciation of the car. Because the last 7 days, I was absolutely flying on it. So it's really, really nice to see it, and thank you for everyone that came up to me to talk about it. Here's a little one of Pat, me, Tom and Joe, just some cars that have been finished in the last month. And then it was time to go home, giving myself a nice break. After a couple of weeks of just doing anything but car work, it was time to get it back out again, just kind of go over what I've done, what's left to do, and just refresh my brain, because it's quite overwhelming when I've left the car for a bit, kind of remembering what I need to get on with. So let's just go through the car and exactly where it is, because there's a lot of footage that I did miss. So as you can see, it practically looks like a car from the exterior, but there are still a few little bits to do. Moving on to the engine bay. Now I didn't want to throw everything in the engine bay that I didn't need to have fitted already or I needed to do other work to. So now I was able to go through it and start installing all those bits. You can see the custom engine loom is in place. The injectors are in, the fuel lines are in, the brake servo, reservoir, the power steering reservoir's in place. So there's only really a few last little bits to do. Now moving on to the interior. So in a previous video, I went through cleaning all that up, dyeing the carpets and getting everything ready to go. So obviously I've fitted that now, but as you can see, there's still a big mess in here. So what is there to do? Starting with the wiring, I've got a lot to fit inside this fuse box. I've got an ECU, I've got the fuse box, and I've got the distribution block from the battery to fit in there. As you can see, the seats are in place. They're not in the best condition, but that is something that I want to do in the future. And then all the dyed carpets are in, looking really good. Obviously they need a clean now because it's been a while. And then moving on to the rear, once again, I've kind of just placed everything in place. The right hand side will have the battery relocation. The left hand side's got the washer bottle that will be used for the front. So I hope you enjoyed this update. It's a massive one. Really appreciate the feedback on the previous videos. Keeps me happy to kind of still film and everything. So I'll see what the next video brings. Hopefully we're very, very, very close to start up. We'll have to find out. I'll see you in the next one.